Okay, so sorry about the hair that happened. I'm going to read this as quick as I possibly can because it is fairly long and I'm not sure how how fast or how short this has to be. Okay, so this is for my English 102 class. Um, I will be reading, I think it's called Koreans, Literature, Structure, Sound, and Sense, the 10th edition. Right here it is. Okay. Now, I will only be reading the forward to the students today. Any comments, questions, or anything, advice, let me know. You can post it on here and I will reply to them. Okay, there it goes. Forward to students. You've been reading stories ever since you learned to read. Your first exposure to verse came with Patty Cake, Baker's Man. You've been watching dramatized life since your family planted you in front of the TV. You've developed your own taste and your own attitudes toward what these varieties of literature can give you. In a sense, there's no need to take an introductory course in reading literature because you've moved beyond the introductory phase. Let's say then that it's time to become familiar and friendly with the literary arts. But let's take stock of where you stand. What have you been getting out of these things that you enjoy reading and watching? For most people, the first answer is vicarious experience. The impression that you are temporarily able to live in some other world than your own private one. A world that may be as familiar as your own neighborhood or as alien to your experience as space travel in some future time or the adventures of explorers in the past. What you want is for the author to take you to where you have never been so that you can imagine yourself in a person in a world other than your own. You probably also want to be able to relate to these characters in the things you read or watch, discovering in them some features of yourself or some qualities that you would like to have, or you like to share vicariously the excitements, joys, and sorrows of people who are not very much like you, but whose lives seem rich and interesting. Or you get a lift from watching some characters making major mistakes with their lives and turning themselves around just in time. Or maybe you are thrilled to see such people brought to justice and punished for misdeeds. Whatever the sources of your pleasure and enjoyment from reading, you may now be ready to find both broader and deeper reasons for continuing that pastime. No matter how much experience you bring to the study of these works, you're in for a few surprises. Some of them will be the surprises that come from broadening your vicarious experience from traveling with us to India and Russia and Nigeria, to Rome and Pittsburgh and Dublin, to 16th century London and 17th century Massachusetts and 19th century Wall Street. Some will be surprised that come from penetrating to the secret recesses of the human mind and so in joys and agonies, from observing people whom you have never met or imagined or with whom you have nothing in common but your humanness. And we hope there will be the surprises and pleasures that come from feeling yourself growing in control or even mastery of your responses and reactions as you learn how literature does what it does. This, of course, is what the formal study of literature can bring you. We all know how we feel when we first read through a work. We probably start by thinking, I like this, or it doesn't say much to me, or what in the world is that supposed to mean? If you could, you'd act on your first reaction and read the work again, or try to see what it's trying to say, or drop it and go on to do something more pleasurable. But you're in a special situation. You're taking a course, either by your own choice or because you're required to, And one of the rules of the game is that you're supposed to move from your initial reaction to some sort of serious response that will just satisfy your teacher. If you like something and want to reread it, your teacher will pester you with wanting to know why you liked it, and might even insist that you offer reasons why other people should like it too. If you are only a little bit curious about it, or think that is a waste of time, your teacher will lead, or nudge, or bash you into finding things in it that might change your first opinion. In any case, the terms of your special situation as a student in a course with a grade on the horizon make it necessary for you to have more than an initial reaction. You'll need to have a developing understanding of the work, and you'll need to show in discussion or writing both what you understand and how the work itself led to that understanding. Interesting. That's where this book will help. In addition to a systematic guide for discovering how and what a literary work means, we've provided you with suggestions for writing at an end of the chapters and standards for your written work in the first section of the book. Why is writing so important? It's the most straightforward way of sorting out your feelings and ideas, putting them into shape, nailing down your own experience. All writing about literature has a double motive. It sharpens your grasp of the work, and it helps you lead other people to share your experience. Writing about literature is writing persuasively, and persuading others to see what you see helps you see it more clearly. So, at the most basic level, we want to help you with reading and writing, but you have every right to ask, why literature? That's a good question, because in our world there are so many ways of gaining experience and insight into our lives and the lives of others that focusing on one resource based on the spoken and written word may seem narrow and old-fashioned. We're willing to grant that, and we'll go even further. In a sense, it is also elitist, and turning to literature as a source of experience will set you apart from the majority of people. Thus, literature provides not only vicarious experience and opportunities to relate to others' lives, but it also permits you to join a special group of scholars, instructors, critics, and other students who share in the wealth of enjoyment and intellectual challenge that it has to offer. Okay, that's it. Please leave comments, questions, suggestions, advice, anything. I'll get back to you, and as always, I am open to suggestions and advice and comments. Thank you. Have a good day.